Greetings and welcome to Austin, Texas Gardening. It's a beautiful, sunny day, late August, here in Austin, Texas, and once again, we're back in my suburban backyard doing a garden tour. And so this is a special one. I have all my containers lined up here in kind of a strange way because my wife and I have decided to move. And we've already gotten a buyer for our home. We live in Northeast Austin, and so we don't really know where we're going to relocate to yet, maybe Pflugerville, but unfortunately, I'm not able to take this stuff with us. So I brought my potted containers over to a friend's house for a couple of days while we were doing our open house. And now that things are moving, I just brought them back. I think ultimately they're probably going to go back on the patio because I've noticed they're killing the grass a little bit. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll know that I had all of my containers over here, and you can kind of see what's left of a few of the crop circles that they left when they were lined up against this wall. I really love them, and I think that they're great, but they really need like a dedicated space. And so we'll try to figure out what that's going to be when we're all situated and finished with the move. But as I was working with my real estate agent and our buyer to figure out what we wanted to do, they really liked my backyard. And I tried to negotiate, and I tried to keep my peach tree and our little banana trees here, but they want everything. And so I'm going to be starting over from scratch. Not exactly sure when, probably late August, early November, but I'm going to keep making these videos. I've really fallen in love with gardening over the past several months, and I am obviously going to keep everything that's in the containers. But beyond that, we're going to have to say goodbye to our lovely peach tree, and it has graced our backyard for very long now, and it looks lovely, but all good things have to come to an end. And yeah, so with that, let's take a look at some of the things that I've been growing in the month of August. And it's getting a little windy out here. I'm trying to step into a position where it'll be less windy, but these are obviously my two avocado plants. I made a video about them just last week, and so they've been growing quite a bit. This avocado sapling here is about 2 feet tall, and I talked a little bit more about it in last week's video. It's been growing great. I'm going to be taking this guy with us, and he is a little bit over a year old. So I'm not exactly sure what the future of these avocados has in store. I had Blaine from Blaine's, forgive me, Blaine, I think it's Blaine's plant blog, comment that she thinks I have an iron deficiency with this avocado sapling. And so I'm going to try to take action to see what we can do to help it. I'm thinking also maybe just getting a little bit too much sun. I don't even know if that's a thing for avocados, but I figure I might move it around or something. So about these containers. Now, I've made multiple different videos about the sweet potatoes and about the pineapples, but I want to start by talking about the pineapples. So these have by far grown the most. These plants are doing awesome. Each one is about 1 foot tall, and these are 5-gallon buckets. So relative to the buckets, you can see how big they are. And if I do like a freeze frame and compare like a side-by-side from how these were when I planted them, which I'm trying to remember when I potted these. I think it was in May. So it's August now. It's about 3 months ago. They have grown quite a bit. And as I mentioned in my how to regrow a pineapple video, these are going to take like 1.5 years to produce a pineapple. So I'm in no rush. And I'm thinking when the sweet potatoes are finished growing, I'm going to empty out these buckets and twist off our pineapple here, which has gone into its reproductive cycle. You can see there's multiple pineapple heads growing from this one plant. I had a few people mention that they think because of the cold weather and just being moved in and out of the garage, it just went into its reproductive stage. And so I'm going to break off these pineapple pups. I think there's 3 of them. There might be 4, but I think there's at least 3 pineapple pups, and just reseed these in some of these Home Depot buckets I have here. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, these can't stay on the grass, you know. I normally don't care about grass, but we're trying to sell our house, so I want it to be at least a little visually appealing. The sweet potatoes have been in these buckets now for, I guess since mid-April, so May, June, July, August. That's 4 months. And you can kind of see here a little bit of sweet potato below the surface. On my last sweet potato video, multiple people told me that I pulled these too early. I did about 100 days with those sweet potatoes. And so we're about 120 days at this point. I'm thinking I'm going to leave them until maybe October or something, and then we'll harvest them, see what's in our buckets. And then, of course, these 2 terracotta pots are just habaneros. When I left my plant at my buddy's house, he forgot to water it, so the one habanero I had growing withered and fell off. But these have produced, these 4 plants have produced probably 2 dozen habaneros over the past 2 or 3 months. So we're going to try to keep these guys alive. I really hope that my wife and I get enough space to have a little greenhouse. We've been trying to debate what kind of house to buy, whether we should buy a large house with a tiny backyard or a small house with a big backyard. And it's probably pretty obvious that I want to purchase land for all of these wonderful gardening projects, but in reality, I think it's more important that we have space for our family. So we'll just see what happens. I don't want to make any promises one way or the other, but stay tuned. And I'll be starting from scratch with new raised beds and whatnot, but the family that moves in here after us is going to get to enjoy everything that I've put in over here. And so this bed needs a lot of work, just to be honest. Obviously, I have these, you know, Bermuda grass runners, weeds, all sorts of, I don't even know what that stuff is over there in the corner. I planted some habanero seeds over here, but some of the stuff that's growing here is looking kind of like this invasive cucumber that lives in the neighborhood. Like, that does not look like a habanero, you know? Some of these might be celery, probably not. They all look very similar, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, about this in-ground garden bed, I planted some pumpkins a few months ago. I think in late July, I made a video about planting these pumpkins, and it's been a little over a month. I thinned them out, so there were 6 main vines. There, and obviously there. And so I don't know what causes pumpkins to fail or thrive. I tried to grow them last year, and it was about as bad for those 5 last year as you're seeing today. But this one right here is doing awesome, and I'm trying to stand where the sun isn't blocking it. I've had a lot of people warn me about vine borers, like different kinds of beetles or bugs or something that can get into these and cause them to die. And I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. Like, here's the base of our vine. You can see some of these leaves are withering off, falling away. I see ants on this. I don't know if those are fire ants or not, which I should probably be alarmed by. And this morning, like, this plant puts out flowers, these little orangish, yellowish flowers, and it looks like it's doing great. The vine generally looks really healthy. I can see it's putting out a ton of tendrils. The foliage is bright, and usually in the early morning before the sun comes out, because it's getting to be about 90 degrees right now. This morning was overcast and maybe like 80. The plant's perked up and looks great, and so just stay tuned. Our move out is looking like it's going to be kind of around Halloween, so I am thinking that if this produces pumpkins, we're going to have a chance to see that. And that'll be the last thing we see of this whole space here, but you'll just have to stay tuned and find out. And so this is my peach tree, my other smaller peach tree. It looks absolutely cursed. I don't know what the ultimate problem is. It's probably like a 3-parter. I run my sprinklers quite a bit because we wanted our grass to be vibrant and lush for our open house. And also the bananas like a lot of water, and I think the pumpkin likes a lot of water too, but this peach tree is definitely getting overwatered. The way these leaves look, like these red spots and holes on the leaves, is just, you know, it looks exactly like peach tree leaf curl, I think is what it's called. I looked it up last year when I had a similar problem with a different tree, and it's obviously dropping leaves. The thing is, if this peach tree dies, they still have that one, and that one is very healthy and looking great. So I don't know what can be done for this. I'm not even trying to rescue it at this point. I'm not trying to become detached from it, but like, it's a space I can't make too many changes to, so I'm just kind of letting it do what it's going to do, and we'll just see what happens. And then, of course, we have our basil that's gone to seed, putting out its flowers. I've just been neglecting a lot of this stuff. It's really obvious I need to get in here and pull up all this Bermuda grass and other junk that's in here. But over here's our strawberry plant, and it looks like it's put out some runners. Like, I think the lights might be jacked up here, but let me stand at a better angle. So what this plant does is, the main plant's obviously drying out from the heat, but it puts out its shoots, and when they touch the ground, it'll set down roots. So we have this vine here. It's not a vine, it's just like maybe it's a vine, I don't know. But when it sits in the ground for long enough, it'll put out its own roots, and now it's a second little strawberry plant. So I definitely want to continue to grow strawberries into the future. I don't know if the camera angle is even good for that. For the record, I realized as I back up and look at the camera, that might have been pretty bad. So let me get back in there. As you can see there, that's what I'm talking about when I say putting out a shoot. I will definitely be growing strawberries in the future. And of course, these here are more habaneros. I will probably dig these up before we move and take them with me, just because peppers this hot are obviously a hazard to children and dogs. I have this little chicken wire gate, which is great, but I just don't want our new homeowners to be under the impression that those peppers are fun to eat and chill. Because habaneros are great, but obviously I wouldn't want anybody to be surprised that way, or any dog to have a surprise vet visit because of that. And so moving on from our garden bed, these are our banana saplings. So I transplanted these on Memorial Day, if memory serves. That was late May, so June, July, August. I'm so bad at math. I keep having to do this. 3 months ago. And they've grown so much. 3 months ago, this was just a tiny, this one on the right there was just like a tiny little sapling, and they're both about 2.5, 3 feet tall at this point, really 2.5. And the second saplings come up as well. So really wanted to take these with me. I'll have to find new banana saplings, banana pups somewhere else, probably my buddy Jacob's backyard where I got these in the first place. But as you can see, I've been neglecting a lot of the gardening stuff. I'm very excited to start over from scratch, and I think it's going to be really great. I hope that the folks that move in here soon really enjoy everything that we've been working with, because it's given me a lot of joy. A couple of things I'm planning on making videos on in the near future. It's that time of year that we're starting to get fire ants. And so this was an active hive. It just rained on it, but you can see like 1 or 2 ants popping out there. I'm not trying to trigger them. I was going to make a video on fire ant control because I really hate stuff like Roundup. I was going to make a video explaining how to use orange oil to get these guys stop bothering you. There we go. So obviously we have a dog, and these can be quite a hassle. So keep an eye out for that video. I think there's a whole bunch of different ways to deal with this. I could pour boiling water on it, and that would kill the hive too. But of course, that would also kill the grass. And I'm trying to have my grass looking decent for selling my home. And so the last big thing in the backyard is obviously the peach tree. And there's a lot of stuff going on with this tree I figured I'd bring up in this video today. So if I stand at the right angle, you'll kind of see those upper branches are really thin. In fact, the whole tree generally is thin. It has not been dropping leaves. It just didn't put that many out to begin with. And this is also post pruning. Maybe about a month ago, I was pruning back because I really wanted to get this new growth. Now, obviously, this is a tree that I will never, probably not eat its fruit again, you know, like, but I hope the folks that are going to be moving into our house get to enjoy this in the spring, because my wife and I have gotten a lot of satisfaction out of this tree, and all that green growth there, all those new shoots are where the peaches will be growing next year. And so I think I need to go through this again and just thin it up, because we got branches like, I mean, this has a little bit of a shoot on it. The branch itself looks, you know, like that one up there. It just looks lame. And I think this tree would be a lot healthier if I went back over it, pruned a little bit more, and also just got some of these high branches down, because even if peaches grow up there, you can't reach them. It's just a hassle. And I mean, it's not heavy enough that if it fell, it would like break the fence or anything, but you can see I came through here and just like cleaned up this whole bed. I think it's a lot better than it was a couple of months ago, but it's sad to say goodbye to our peach tree. I am really glad we had one great successful harvest with it, and I'm not exactly sure what the future holds, but stay tuned. I'm going to go step over to my front yard and talk a little bit about some of the beds over there and the changes that we've made. All right, so this is my front yard, and if you've seen some of my previous garden tours, you'll know that the most obvious change is I pulled up all of our tomatoes, habaneros, everything else that was out here in the front yard, and just tried to make it a little more buyer friendly. I put in some of these little petunias, and I mean, it's sad. We're saying goodbye to so many things. Like the green onions, I pulled them up while we were having a big yard work day, and I didn't get any film or pictures or anything, but they had grown quite a bit underground. I mean, some of them were, you know, close to like store-bought onion bulb size. And it's just been really cool to try to grow things in my front yard. I think that like this whole channel has really just been a fun learning experience, and it's kind of bittersweet seeing the front bed like this because it looks really aesthetically pleasing, but I had to tear up all my wildflowers. I tore up so many bluebonnets. It felt so bad, but I think this is probably for the best. And our new owners, if they want to do something else, they can, of course. But also, I mean, I'm about to comment on this, but you see the black mulch everywhere. That's just something that they do with all the new homes in my neighborhood. I personally hate black mulch. I think it's terrible for the soil. It's terrible for the plants. But like, for example, our fig tree here, I've never made a proper video on this fig tree, and I've wanted to. It's grown many figs, but I've just never had an opportunity to really capture the process. And even now, like, I doubt I will get it captured before we move out. When I bought this tree, it was much smaller. You can see it's about 2.5, 3 feet tall at this point. And I've made a couple of videos where in the garden frost protection videos, I would discuss wrapping this in burlap and bubble wrap and then putting a drop cloth on it and all that. And I think a lot of that's helped it. But you can see here, it's just getting to the point of the season where we're putting out our first fig. And I'm not sure that we're gonna get to a point of maturity with this tree. Like, I think there's only 2 figs on it, and these are the 2. And on top of it, like, I mean, I think that the black mulch has probably shocked the tree quite a bit. You can see some new growth in there. I don't even think it looks that great because like, you've got this grass coming through, like here's a bluebonnet fighting against the odds, but ultimately we did the same for the olive and for the apple tree. And I recently also made a video about this olive tree and how it's recovered from the winter storm. I don't think by any means the black mulch is going to kill these plants. It's just not, it's not beneficial for them. But as I mentioned in the olive tree video, our olive tree's grown so well, it's probably about solid 3 feet tall at this point. And it definitely isn't what it used to be. If you've been watching me since January, you've probably seen the video where I picked and brined olives from this tree in the fall of 2020. And after the winter storm, it died back. And so this is all that's left. And of the original base, of course, this little trunk here. And I might cut some of that back as well, but I think it's recovering. And I don't know what the future will hold for this tree. I'm definitely not going to like drive by my old house in the future and film anything. I might like cruise by slowly and peek out the window, but I'm not gonna, this is the last you're gonna see this tree on YouTube. But I will definitely be trying to grow olives and of course figs at our new home. The apple tree never really did anything that special. I planted it in January and I think there's like a little bit of new growth on it. I saw something the other day that I thought like, oh, there's something, like, you know, a couple of these little shoots there, but it's really young and really small and really uninteresting. As I've mentioned in a couple of my other videos, and in this one, this whole YouTube channel and gardening as a whole has been a really fun learning experience. I feel like some of my experience with this stuff here and my raised bed and all the stuff in the backyard has been like training wheels for anything that we might do at our future home. I really have aspirations to do much larger raised bed gardening, build a greenhouse, amongst other things. So stay tuned. We're probably not going to be moving for about another month or two, but I do anticipate some really cool videos in the future. Thanks for watching, everybody.